Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Reading the Red this Monday morning, and it's going to be a bright, I think, sunny day. Hopefully, I'm right. Matthew 18, verse 19, 18. Truly I say to you, whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. So Jesus, truly, so he's saying, well, I mean this, truly, this is really true. Truly, I say to you. So Jesus is letting us into a reality of what things are like, and he wants us to gain this insight. So he says to her, look, I want you to really understand this. I want you to listen to this. I want you to truly recognize that this is what goes on. And he says, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth, that means permit, will be permitted in heaven. And this loosing and binding, Christians have got themselves into all kinds of pathways as it relates to these thoughts. But what does it mean to bind something up? What does it mean to permit something to happen? Well, the reality is that to bind something up is to not let it go on, to stop it from happening. And then to permit it means to allow it to happen. So the reality of what we allow on earth and what we don't allow on earth has an influence in the reality of what's going on in heaven. So this sense of consenting to or allowing or permitting, what does this really mean? The fullness of allowing something to happen. Well, it's about giving permission for it to happen. Something might be wrong, but we permit it to be right, and therefore for us, it appears to be right. Whether it's right or wrong is irrelevant. The fact that we think it's right makes it right. And so therefore the reality of it happening will continue to go on. And same with what we don't believe or think is right, what we don't permit, what we bind, what we say that shouldn't happen, what we don't agree with. And so we say that's not going to happen because we don't agree with it. And this sense of who makes the judgment call as it relates to what should happen and can go on, and what shouldn't happen and what can't go on. Now, if we're relying on our own resources as it relates to how we come to those conclusions, we get ourselves into a pickle, because who are we if we allow ourselves to take the general consensus that more people are doing this, therefore the majority rules? We're going to get ourselves into a pickle. No, what God wants from us is to recognize that we're not the final authority in anything. We might think we are, and in a rebellious state, we might well be acting as if we are. But in reality, the truth is that we're not. We might be deceived into thinking we are, but we're not. God is ultimately in charge. Now, that's either true or it's a lie. Jesus says, truly, I say to you, meaning this is really true. I really mean this, that whatever, in effect, you allow to happen on earth is going to happen in heaven, and whatever you bind on earth is going to bind in heaven. He's saying this, he's saying that there's a new value system that God wants us to take hold of, and it's not built around who we are in terms of how we conclude things, but it's built around what he thinks and how he operates. God wants us to operate in his name, thinking and acting just like him. So the final authority is not ours, but his. And when we learn to think like God, we can bring the reality of what's going on in heaven into our lives on earth. And when we start to act like God, we can learn to bring the reality of what God does in heaven down on the earth. Whatever you bind, whatever you loose. But let it be because God has inspired and refined your thinking. Have a great day. Be blessed. And I'll see you tomorrow.